What if I told you that there exists a kind of peace so deep, so unshakable, and so completely independent of your circumstances that no person, no event, no loss, and no failure could ever touch it? You would probably say that sounds impossible. Because every kind of peace you have ever experienced has been conditional. It arrived when things were going well and disappeared when they were not. It depended on the right people behaving the right way, on your bank account being healthy enough, on the future looking certain enough, on the past being resolved enough. And the moment any of those conditions changed, the peace evaporated. Buddha said this kind of conditional peace is not really peace at all. It is just a temporary absence of disturbance. And he spent his entire life pointing towards something incomparably deeper. The first thing Buddha discovered is that most people are searching for peace in completely the wrong direction. They are looking outward, trying to arrange the external world into a configuration that will finally allow them to feel at peace inside. Fix the relationship, get the money, resolve the conflict, achieve the goal, and then, peace will come. But Buddha watched people achieve every one of those things and remain profoundly restless. Because the external world can never be arranged permanently enough to produce permanent peace. It is always shifting, always changing, always producing new problems the moment the old ones are resolved. Looking for permanent peace in a permanently changing world is like trying to find solid ground in the middle of the ocean. It does not exist out there. It never did. The real peace, the peace Buddha discovered under the Bodhi tree and spent 40 years teaching, exists in a completely different direction. Inward, beneath the thoughts, beneath the emotions, beneath the stories the mind tells about who you are and what your life means. There is a dimension of your being that is already peaceful, that has always been peaceful, that is not disturbed by what happens on the surface, any more than the depths of the ocean are disturbed by the waves on its surface. The waves are real, the storms are real, but the depths remain still, always. Buddha called this your original nature, and the entire practice he taught was simply the practice of remembering it. The second teaching is about what actually disturbs peace. Most people believe their peace is disturbed by external events, by what people say, by what happens, by circumstances. But Buddha observed something more precise. Peace is not disturbed by events. It is disturbed by your resistance to events, by the demand that things be different from what they are, by the refusal to accept what has already happened, by the desperate attempt to control what cannot be controlled. The moment you stop fighting reality, the moment you genuinely accept what is rather than demanding what should be, the disturbance quiets, not because anything changed, but because the war ended, and peace is always waiting on the other side of the war you are waging against what is. The third teaching is the practice Buddha called mindfulness, and it is the most direct path to the unconditional peace he described. Mindfulness is not relaxation. It is not the absence of thought. It is the practice of being completely present with whatever is here, without judgment, without resistance, without the need for it to be different. When you are fully present, when your entire attention is here rather than in yesterday or tomorrow, you discover something remarkable. This moment, just this moment, is almost always okay. The suffering is almost never here. It is in the story about here. It is in the memory of what happened before here. It is in the fear of what might happen after here. But here itself, just this breath, just this moment, is survivable, always, and often, more than survivable. Often it is quietly, unexpectedly beautiful. The fourth teaching is about the role of acceptance in producing peace. Buddha did not teach passive resignation. He taught active acceptance. The difference is crucial. Passive resignation says, nothing can be changed, so why try? Active acceptance says, I fully acknowledge what is true right now. I stop wasting energy fighting what cannot be changed, and from that place of clarity, I take the most effective action available. Active acceptance is actually more powerful than resistance, because resistance clouds judgment. It keeps your attention on what cannot be changed rather than on what can. Acceptance clears the vision and frees the energy for what is actually possible. The fifth and most profound teaching is this: peace is not something you find. It is something you uncover. It is already there, beneath everything you have piled on top of it. The anxiety piled on top, the constant thinking piled on top, the judgments and comparisons and demands piled on top. Underneath all of that, it was always there, waiting, patient, completely undisturbed by the storm on the surface. Your entire practice is simply the practice of removing what covers it, one layer at a time, one conscious breath at a time, one moment of genuine presence at a time. You do not need to earn peace. You do not need to fix everything first. You do not need to be further along your journey or have your life more together or have resolved every unresolved thing. The peace is here, right now, in this breath, in this moment, in the simple, profound, extraordinary fact that you are alive and aware right now. Drop the resistance, just for a moment, and feel what was always there underneath it. That is your peace. It always was. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can ever take it from you, because it was never outside you to begin with. Save this, and come back to it whenever the world feels like too much. Share it with someone who is desperately searching for peace in all the wrong places. And subscribe to Tathagata Wisdom, because every single day we bring you the wisdom that leads you back to the peace that was always already yours.